Every day it seems like there's something new to fear. It's almost like it's planned or intentional. And that's what we talk about in our episode of Drop the Stones, where we talk about this fear and how people are using it to manipulate basic instincts inside ourselves. The flight or fight response that keeps us, just wears us down because it's something that's there supposed to be there for a brief moment to get us out of a dangerous situation and protect us and keep us safe. But anymore, it seems like we're in it constantly, 24/7, and that wears down our systems. It makes us open to susceptibility and just being influenced by powers that we don't want to be, because they keep pushing and pushing this stuff out just to keep us in a fearful mode. And it's nothing more different than that friend you used to have that would test the borders on anything to see if really there's going to be any accountability for anything. And that's all that's happening here. So they're just testing what they want. There's no real meat or teeth behind a lot of what they're doing because it's illegal. It's not allowed. It's not something that should be done. And they're getting held accountable. And hopefully they should. And that's bringing me to the point of what we can do. Because we really can't do anything. We have no real effect as individuals on this major thing in our country. But we have to get out of that flight or fight and just try to figure out what we actually can do. Look into the reality of the situation on what we can do. We can hold our representatives accountable to make sure that they're keeping these people in check and telling them there's these lines you cannot cross, and stop trying to push it, and hold them accountable and hold them in check for what they're doing. We can influence that. We can help our neighbors and everyone else that might be affected by policies coming through and do what we can on a personal level to do it and affect real change in there. And what that's going to do is get us out of that fight or fight and get us into a position of where we actually have control back over our lives, where we can actually affect change on a local and personal level. Because when these actions come out and trigger this, it prevents us from doing what we're called to do. It prevents us from progressing and getting better. And it prevents us from being the people we need to be. But when we can wrestle that power back, actualize what the fear really could be and how we can affect the change of that here, we can get out of that flight or fight and start having a positive response on the communities and the local areas that we have affect on a daily basis. And that's really all we can do. Hopefully that starts movements and people unite upon that, and then you can have national change come from that. But we got to get out of that flight or fight, because that's not an effective place to be. It's almost like a famous saying a wise gentleman had once at one time. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because that's what's controlling us. It's what's manipulating us and keeping us down and preventing us from progress.